How we doing, guys? Welcome to the official start of the NFL season, episode 136, the official prediction episode of week 1. We're also going to touch on the college football week 2. How you doing? Welcome. God bless you. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is the Exec Talk podcast. I'm El Exec, your host. And yeah, it's here. You see the hat? Yeah. 3P incoming. Let me just let that off the bat. 3P incoming. And you're going to be like, why? What about Baltimore? What about the 49ers? What about the Lions? What about the Texans? Nah. You got to beat 15, man. You want that trophy, you got to go beat 15. You're not, and I don't see it. Listen, put it this way. 15, Pat, PM, 3. 15 had no receivers. An undisciplined O-line, to say the least. Jawan Taylor. Still on the team. And running game, Isaiah could run, but he didn't have many holes except in the inside because Creed Humphrey and Joe Thuney, those people are monsters. But on the outside, couldn't run the ball lick. And this man said to his defense, hey, if you play them to a 17 to 20 point threshold, this is in the playoffs, I'll win the game. What do? That's what happened. If you give me the ball if you give me a chance at the end of the game, I'll win the game. I don't care if you're the 49ers with Nick Bosa and Birdie and Williams and Ayuk. You lost. Twice to Kyle Shanahan, he lost. Okay? Kyle Shanahan has lost twice to 15. Okay, in the Super Bowl, in the biggest moment, on game-winning drives, both games, with a lead, both games. So 3P incoming. Listen, PM is my favorite for the MVP. My dark horse is CJ Stroud. I know that you guys want to say about Jordan Love. I know that you guys want to say about Joe Burrow. I know some of you guys want to say Lamar, and I know some of you guys that want to say Aaron. Listen, I got Stafford above Aaron at this point. I'm just being real. Okay? You might say Josh Allen. I got PM, man. Listen, we're going to get into it with my predictions and everything, but I'm going to just give you a little precursor. What you think the league has been these past 5 years, it ain't that. Okay? There's new kids on the block. And, some people going to make noise. Some people going to take a little bit of time. But it's a new landscape in the NFL. All right? No Formula One this week. They go to Azerbaijan, which I believe is Baku, in the 15th. September 15th. So the first thing we're going to talk about is NASCAR, because we have the first brain fart. The first playoff race this weekend. And let me actually look for it here. I believe they go to Atlanta. I believe. Okay, so they're going to Atlanta. Man, listen. This is going to be a Hendrick race. This is either going to be William Byron, Alex Bowman, or most likely it will be Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson loves Atlanta. Hendrick Motorsports loves Atlanta. They've had like the last 3 or 4 winners there. So I expect one of the Hendrick boys to come. Now, that doesn't mean that a guy like Tyler Reddick, that a guy like Martin Truex, a guy like Blaney, that doesn't mean that they will not, let's say, try to take it away from Hendrick, but I think the best car showing up is Hendrick Motorsports, followed by, of course, JGR. The Fords are probably there, but not as much as Toyota and Chevy. All right. Let's go to contract stuff. Okay. Trent Williams, $48 million. Okay. The exact numbers, breakdown, and everything, I bookmarked it just, for this. Here it is. So they're guaranteeing the next 2 years of his contract, equating to $48 million, including an addition to $7.6 million salary this season because he didn't have no live money left. Williams has 3 years remaining on his contract. He will make $27.65 million this season, the most of any offensive lineman. So they somehow, some way, and Trent said that he was definitely a catalyst of this, a holding out and everything like that. But when Ricky Pearsall got shot, it kind of moved him to be with the team. What this does is basically reassure Trent that the 49ers feel like he is still the best in the league and they're paying him as such for this season. Remember, he's about to be 37 years old. He's 36 right now. By the end of the season, I believe he's going to be 37. So, but I don't care about the contract. What I care is about the having him back at practice. You got to understand where I'm coming from this and everybody else that has talked about this in the media when everybody's talking about Ayuk and just did not bring up certain times. They just didn't bring up Trent Williams. Trent Williams is not only the best left tackle in the league and arguably the GOAT at the position. Trent Williams is not only one of the most tenured 49ers since he's been there when he came from Washington. Trent Williams is the heart and absolute soul of that offense. They go as Trent Williams goes. If Trent Williams is bodying people and destroying people and people are not existing on the left side of the offensive line, from the rushing standpoint, they're dominating. Okay? That's what it is. They're dominating. Notice who created the pressure in the fourth down in the Super Bowl that Brock Purdy had to throw away the ball and they had to kick the field goal on the third down. Chris Jones. Who doesn't play guard or center? Trent Williams. You know what I'm saying? If Chris was playing outside, a little bit different. Maybe Trent gets him. Maybe that touchdown gets done. And then, shit goes differently. But Trent Williams back in the fold, which absolutely cements my prediction for Monday, but we'll get there. So shout out Trent Williams getting some more money. He deserved it. Okay? Did it. Okay? Another guy that got paid. Cameron Hayward, old Ironhead, or son of Ironhead. 3-year, $45 million deal that includes a $15 million duet signing, $60 million fully guaranteed, and $29 million in new money. Listen, when you got a guy like this that absolutely can wreck games from the inside, especially stopping the running game, sacking the quarterback not so much, not in this later stage of his career, but can still definitely do a swim move on you and still move you. One of the most powerful D tackles in the league for sure. Strongest, close to being the strongest along with Chris Jones because Aaron Donald's not here no more. He retired. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in 5 years. I think that, it's a good move because he's going to retire Steeler. He is an all-time Steeler, one of the all-time Steeler greats. In my opinion, with what he's done, he's a fringe Hall of Famer to me. I would put him in. I've seen enough of him. I would put him in. But, we so far, we don't know. He's going into the Ring of Honor for the Steelers for sure. Hall of Fame, I think he should be, but, some people think that the numbers aren't there. He's a D tackle. It's kind of objective there. Or subjective. So, good signing, though. It's kind of like what they did with Curry in Golden State. Hey, you're going to retire here. We're going to give you one last, little severance package. Okay. Speaking on what Trent Williams, after Ricky Pearsall got shot, he said, to be real, I felt more compelled to come back after that. After Ricky Pearsall got shot, they asked him about it. And he admits that it motivated him to end his holdout and work out a deal with the return with the team. Trauma is powerful. Michael Carter, the cornerback from the Jets, the first player drafted by GM Joe Douglas to receive a contract extension, 5th round pick out of Duke. He's now the highest paid nickel in the league, so he surpasses Kenny Moore, I believe, was the other one from the Colts. He gets 3 years, $30.75 million extension. Good. Solidify that defense even more. Not only up front, not only at the linebacking core, not only at the corners, but also at your nickel, safety-ish type of spot, Then Davis Mills signs to be the backup at the Texans again for 1 year, $5 million. Devin White's ruled out for their Friday night game against the Green Bay Packers in Brazil. That's going to be interesting. So the 49ers restructured Deebo Samuel's deal to create $16.4 million in cap space. The Ravens restructured Nnamdi Madubuike and Justin Tucker and Roquan Smith deals, creating $9.3 million in cap space. And the Jets restructured Quincy Williams and Tyler Conklin's deal, creating $8 million in cap space. That's to have breathing room to see what's happening based on when people get hurt and stuff like that. Okay. The next thing I was actually looking for, I guess I didn't bookmark it, which is really weird. It was the Patrick Surtain. Here it is. So Patrick Surtain, 2-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, 4 years, $96 million extension that includes $77.5 million guaranteed, now making him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. Shout out to Tony Dandy of CAA for negotiating the deal. Listen, that's your best player on defense right now until you find a pass rusher. So, it's good that you pay him. You make him the highest paid. He is one of the best. He is one of the top 5 best. So when you have one of the top 5 best, you're going to have to pay him like one of the top 5 best. This passes Sauce. This passes Rick Woolen. They made him the richest. That is their defense, essentially. It's Patrick Surtain. Until they find either Nick Benito or Jonathan Cooper from linebacker to end-ish type. Whatever they find out there. PS2 is the name on that defense. Okay? So those are the bookmarks, stuff like that. Hassan Reddick is the only one that's holding out currently in the NFL. Now, when I think of Hassan Reddick holding out for the Jets, and I'm looking at the Jets, if Hassan does not play, the Jets probably committed one of the worst trades ever, at least on the defensive side of the ball. You give up a prime, young, talented, freaky edge, Bryce Huff, that you found in the draft, for an older, more expensive edge player in Hassan Reddick that does the same thing. Same speed, like coming off the edge with speed, same thing Bryce does. And you expect that there's not a reason why Hassan Reddick got traded to you. This is a guy who led their team in sacks the year that they won a Super Bowl. So you're telling me you didn't do your research. It's like, I wonder why they're trading him. Oh, they didn't want to pay him. So what happens when he gets over here? We'll figure it out. Season starts tomorrow. Sunday's 3 days away. He hasn't touched the building since he got introduced to the team. The building, a meeting, a walkthrough, anything. He hasn't been he was in Japan. And if you don't have Hassan Reddick, it is literally Will Johnson and Will McDonald. Now, I ain't saying that they're not going to do great because I believe in both of those kids, especially Will McDonald. Jermaine Johnson's that dude, and I hope that he finally shows that type of ability of why they took him from FSU. But you cannot tell me that the Jets aren't jetsing again by not realizing that Hassan Reddick, even though he's an older player, coming into a contract year that he wasn't expecting to get paid top dollar. This, based on his productivity the last few years. So, I don't understand. Ja'Marr Chase came back to practice today. No deal has been done. But I'm going to put it very simply. I promise you that Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase have been talking all offseason long, been practicing together, might not be on site, might be in Joe Burrow's backyard or Ja'Marr Chase's backyard, but they have been working. Okay? So Ja'Marr, especially since his game check is $88,000 or $80,000, something like that, because he's only making $14 million. It's the last of his rookie deal. The last 2 years of the rookie deal. He was like, I don't want to go. I want to get paid. Justin Jefferson get paid. Jalen Waddle gets paid. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets paid. DJ Moore gets. Everybody gets a bag. Ayuk just got paid. His situation is the fact that he doesn't have no leverage because he's 2 years out. Now, Jalen Waddle, we paid him with 2 years out. But I think Stephen Ross is a little bit more open to giving out contracts with 2 years out. He saw his quarterback get paid highest in the league, $55 million. And he's expecting $35 million. Ayuk got 30. And Ja'Marr Chase is a way better receiver than Ayuk. So, Ja'Marr Chase healthy, it's Justin Jefferson, Ja'Marr Chase, Tyreek Hill. And then starts a conversation about who you're going to put forth. That's it. So, maybe A.J. Brown. But, personally, I think that Ja'Marr was going to play regardless. Jamar's not going to look at his best friend in the eye, who he won a national championship with, went to a Super Bowl with, broke records, which has been breaking records with, and tell him, hey, because they're not paying me 2 years out, I'm not going to play on Sunday. You're not going to leave your franchise quarterback and your best friend hang out to dry without his number one target, which will put the team's success into jeopardy for what your ultimate goal is, that if you win the Super Bowl, you're getting paid. So, personally, I always thought he was going to play. Trent Williams was more of a question to me because Trent really doesn't need the money. There was no money left. He didn't need the money. Jamar's not getting fined for nothing. He's $80K, like a game check. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, if you really think about it, Jamar was going to play. And he practiced today. Not at Pats, but he practiced. He was there. Okay? All right, let's get to college football first, and then we'll jump into the NFL. I'm gonna run through college football real quick, the slate. Okay, week 2. Texas, Michigan. Listen, off bat, we're going Texas. Number 3 team in the nation versus the number 10 team in the nation. Texas has better receivers, better quarterback. Offensive line might be a question mark compared to the Michigan Giant offensive line. Defense-wise, I think that they're comparable. And I just see more explosiveness with Isaiah Bond and Quinn Ewers. And at the quarterback position in Michigan, it's iffy. You got Orgy. You got what's this other man's name? Orgy. And Davis Warren. Orgy and Davis Warren. Listen, man, I don't know about that. Okay, I'm gonna go Texas. I'm probably betting this game. Going Texas, going Quinn Ewers, going Sarkisian. It's in the big house though. It's in Michigan. So this win would be incredible for Texas. And horrible loss for Michigan. Okay, Penn State Bowling Green, we're going Penn State. Oklahoma State, Arkansas. Very interesting game. Number 16 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys at home in Stillwater versus an SEC team in Arkansas. The bets say Oklahoma State's the favorite, 7.5. Yeah, I believe in Ollie Gordon. He's going to win top running back this year for sure. And he's going to make a case for the Heisman, but I think Travis Hunter and Cam Ward, Ewers, Jalen Milroe, I think those guys are going to have a little bit more of a case than him. Kansas State, Tulane. So we're going Oklahoma. I'm going Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State is a better team, but it is an SEC team still at Arkansas. But I'm going Oklahoma State in Stillwater. Kansas State, Tulane. We're going Kansas State. Georgia Tech, Syracuse. We're going Georgia Tech. Tennessee Tech, Georgia. Massacre, Georgia. Notre Dame, Northern Illinois. Should be a massacre. Utah versus Baylor. I'm going Utah. Iowa State, Iowa. I'm going Iowa. They scored 40 points, so let's see if they can keep scoring. Louisville, Jacksonville State, we're going Louisville. Middle Tennessee State, Ole Miss, we're going Ole Miss. Florida A&M, UM, that should be a blowout by UM. Alabama, South Florida, another blowout. Missouri, Buffalo, another blowout. Kansas, Illinois, going Kansas. Love Daniels. Love that kid. I think that kid's going to be really good, Jalen Daniels. Been seeing him for a couple years before he got hurt. He's really good. Western Michigan versus Ohio State. Massacre, Ohio State. Tennessee versus NC State. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It is an NC State, but I'm going Tennessee. I like Imiami Liava. Nico, I think he's going to be nasty. He was nasty in the first game. A little bit more competition. Doesn't matter. I think he's going to be great. LSU versus Nichols. We're going LSU. I mean, after that loss against, the tough loss against USC, but USC got a squad. They got a squad with Horton and Zachariah Branch, and they got a squad over there. Defense playing well, better than last year for sure. Oklahoma, Houston, we're going Sooners. Clemson, Appalachian State. I think Clemson could get this one. Oregon, Boise State, we're going Oregon. Arizona, Northern Arizona, we're going Arizona. And then USC, Utah State, we're going USC. Okay. Very simple. That's the top 25. If we want to go all of FBS, Indiana beats Western Illinois. I think, let's see here. SMU beats BYU. Interesting. Duke versus Northwestern. They're giving Northwestern a 2.5. I want to go Duke, but that's a brand new coach and everything. I'll go Northwestern. And then we said every other. Let's see. FAU, Army. We're going Army. UConn, Memphis. None of these teams are going to do anything. Pitt, Cincinnati. We're going Cincy. No, the 1.5. Rhode Island, Minnesota should be a massacre. And other than that, Louisville, Jacksonville State. Louisville, we said that. California, Auburn. Auburn minus 13-point spread. We're going SEC. Kentucky, South Carolina, we're going Kentucky. Michigan State, Maryland, we're going Michigan State. Even though Maryland is 8.5-point favorite. You know what? We're going Maryland. They've been better the last few years. Washington, Eastern Michigan, we're going Washington. Wisconsin, South Dakota, we're going Wisconsin. Toledo, UMass, we're going Toledo. Duquesne versus Boston College, we're going BC. North Carolina, Charlotte, we're going North Carolina. Wyoming, Idaho. Temple, Navy. Marshall versus Virginia Tech, we're going Virginia Tech. And then we get to UCF over Sam Houston, obviously. Samford versus Florida. Florida better win. I pick in Florida. Cal Poly. Stanford's going to destroy Cal Poly. Wake Forest versus Virginia. I'm going to give it to Wake. Air Force versus San Jose State. I'm going Air Force. Let's see. Colorado versus Nebraska. Interesting game. You have the Heisman front runner, Travis Hunter, along with his running mate, also Heisman hopeful, Shedeur Sanders. And Joe Horn as well. Versus the number one quarterback recruit in the country coming out of high school in Raiola with Matt Rule, and they looked damn good last week. Listen, I love Colorado more than, I love this team. I love Travis Hunter. I love Shedeur. I love Shiloh. Love Prime. Joe Horn. But I got to be really honest with you guys. That kid Raiola can absolutely play. And the spread as it is right now is Nebraska minus 7.5 in Nebraska on prime time on Saturday on NBC and Peacock. And I think I'm going Nebraska with that kid. I just don't see the defense from Colorado. They can show me up, but I don't see the defense. Washington State versus Texas Tech. We're going Washington State. And that's about it. So those are my picks. We went pretty well last week, except the FSU and the LSU. Other than that, we did pretty well, but it's still easy right now. I think the first hard game is going to be Texas, Michigan. I'm going Texas. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Tomorrow, official kickoff, banner night, Chiefs, Ravens. We're going Chiefs. We're going Chiefs. We already know that, three-peat incoming. We're going to start it off well. Why are we going Chiefs? Very simple. By the way, the spread, just so you guys know, KC -3, so it's basically a toss-up, a little bit slight edge to the home favorite, which is -3, which is fine. Very simple why this game will go KC's way. They're at home. They lost at home last year. They have Chris Jones and Kelsey. They didn't have them last year for week 1. No Hollywood Brown. Xavier Worthy will play. The defense is intact. Everyone's healthy. And they're not losing at home. They're not losing at home. I believe that they are not losing at home for a second straight year coming off a Super Bowl. If they do, shout out to Lamar. But I think the difference is going to be you only got Roquan Smith, no more Patrick Queen. So you don't have your rangy, fast linebacker back there. And it's essentially going to come down to third down, turnovers, and explosive plays. Who can run the ball? What is Derrick Henry going to give the Ravens? Is Lamar going to run? Is he going to want to run? He didn't do it in the AFC Championship game, and it cost him. Chris Jones is healthy. Karlaftis is healthy. Bolton is everybody's healthy. Everyone. If you're asking what offensive line holds up more, I think that it's the Chiefs. Just a feeling. I just believe that the Chiefs' offensive line will play better than last year. Now, I don't expect a giant game from Xavier Worthy because it's his first game and everything. Now, I do expect a long touchdown Now, long is subjective. For me, a long touchdown is 40 yards. 40-yard catch. Pretty nice. But if he catches a 25, 30, 35-yarder, I'm not mad at it. Still a good reception. Probably still has to hit the gear. But I just want to see his on-field speed and pads because I've seen it at Texas, and I just want to see it against NFL guys and see what the difference is if it is a Tyreek Hill type of speed difference, which I believe it will be. At least straight line. Reek is the greatest ever. 0 to 100 in the most efficient amount of steps possible, which is like 2. Okay, and he could shut it down on a dime. So we'll see what Xavier Worthy does. I expect a big game for Travis Kelce, even though it's going to be Kyle Hamilton on him all night. Guy that gives him the most trouble, the guy that covered him in the AFC Championship game, but I expect a big game from Travis Kelce. Decent game from Isaiah Pacheco. I don't expect Mahomes to just light it up. There's no Hollywood Brown, so it's Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce along with Hardman, Watson, and Rashee Rice. I don't expect dink and dunk because you still have Xavier Worthy, so there's going to be a lot of two-man played, split safety. They're going to find the seams. I just think Mahomes is just going to come out and be like, nah, I really want this 3P and I really want this third MVP. Lamar's going to play great. I don't have a doubt about that. Derrick Henry's a question mark because of his age, but I expect him to be at full go. And then Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely. Those are, to me, his 4 legit weapons. We'll see what happens. I'm taking the Chiefs. Packers, Eagles. Listen, I know you guys are on this bandwagon of the Packers and Jordan Love and, Jalen Reed and Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Dobbs and Musgrave, Christian Watson, Josh Jacobs. Oh, my God, that defense. You got Clark. And we'll see what a jump from Javonte Wyatt and Lucas Van Ness. But let me tell you something. This is what you're facing with the Eagles in Philly. Arguably top 3 offensive line in the league. And I believe those would read. It would go probably, I would say, Eagles, Lions, 49ers. In that order would be the offensive lines. Saquon. Now, you guys might think, but Saquon, Nah. You got to understand that Saquon has never had an offensive line. Saquon in his Rookie of the Year campaign never had an offensive line. Saquon, every time he took the ball, he had to stop, wiggle, because he had defensive ends and tackles running up the field on him, and he had to make a juke move just so he could get outside or hit a crease. Now, there's no Jason Kelce, and I understand that, more on the plate of Jalen Hurts, but you're not covering Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, and especially A.J. Brown. You're not. And then Dallas Goedert. You're not. You have a math problem. You can only play double on one dude. Kind of hard when both dudes are 1As. And if you're the one of the ones that say Devontae Smith is not a 1A, I can't have that conversation with you. I've seen him at Alabama. I've seen him when AJ's not there and dominated. I've seen him when AJ is there, and if he's on a heater, he is more productive than AJ. Legit generational talent, the Slim Reaper. So, and then the defense, Guys, do you think that defense is going to be the same? Or did you forget that they have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter as their 2 D tackles? Not to mention, still got Fletcher Cox, still got Brandon Graham, and I think Nolan Smith is going to show out this year in his second year from Georgia. Because that's why they got and they got Bryce Huff. So on the what's your starting 4 against that Packers offensive line? Your starting 4 is anything from Bryce Huff, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham. Or if you want to go young, then you go Bryce Huff, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith. If you want to go young and old, you go Bryce Huff, Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. Like, there's so much. And you still got Josh Sweat. Like, what? No. I don't care how good Jordan Love is. When I look at talent versus talent, and Jalen Hurts can still run, and he's healthy. Remember, when they started losing last year is because he wasn't healthy. Remember the shoulder issue. Remember the knee issue. He's fully healthy now. So what we're expecting is Jalen Hurts from the Super Bowl year, 2022. We're expecting 2022 Jalen Hurts. And if that's what shows up, Packers got no chance. Now, this is going to be a close game just because it is Jordan Love, and he's going to try to show out. But I don't think they have enough to deal with this Eagles team. This Eagles team is primed to win their division for sure and maybe be the number 1 seed over the 49ers or the Lions. That's who's vying for that number 1 seed in the NFC. So we're going Eagles. Panthers Saints. Some people might call it the Trash Bowl. The Poop Bowl. The oh shit, this is bad bowl. Listen, I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm going to go with the Saints just purely based on their at home and experience. Now, let me be very, very, very clear about this. If Bryce Young, let's say Bryce Young had the same problem that Trevor Lawrence had with Urban Meyer, or the same problem that Tua had with Brian Flores. If Dave Canales walked into that building and said, hey, Bryce, I want you to be Alabama Bryce. F whatever else they told you. And this man proceeds to be Alabama Heisman Bryce, the Saints have no shot. Because if Bryce is Bryce, we're talking about 70% completion, can sling it, can run it. Now, the weapons, I think Xavier Legette and Jonathan Mingo are going to be his 2 main guys. But at the beginning of the season, and Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette are probably his main nuclear threats. But his safety blanket, I still think it's going to be Adam Thielen. I don't know what they're going to do with Jonathan Mingo. Just being realistic. Their running back is not going to be Chuba Hubbard. It's going to be Miles Sanders. Maybe he has a comeback season. The offensive line has to play better. The defensive line has no Brian Burns. So, to me, this comes down purely due to experience. Because even Dennis Allen, I think he's the first coach fired if they lose the first 4 or go 1-4, 1-5. I think he's out of here. Okay, for the Saints. So, I'm going Saints. Chris Olave, Derek Carr, AK. I'm going Saints. Rashid Shaheed. We still got Cameron Jordan. Chase Young, if he wakes up. Tyrann Mathieu. But I would not be at all surprised if Bryce Young just starts lighting it up. Second year, a guy in Canales that I think can work with him, and instead of Matt Rule and trying to install the Baylor system there, college system with no weapon. I think this year they're gonna show out better. It's not gonna be horrible football what we're watching. They're still gonna lose, but if they make it interesting, I wouldn't be surprised. Cardinals Bills is the Bills in Buffalo. Now Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. might have a day. Kyler might go for 350, 2 touchdowns. Marvin might go for 100 yards plus and a touchdown. But even without Stephon Diggs, the Bills still have one of the best rosters in the NFL. Now, no Matt Milano again, but I don't see anybody on the Cardinals that can cover Keon Coleman. That's a fact. And the defense is going to eat up that Arizona offensive line. So I'm really thinking about it. It's the Bills, and it might be a blowout. Now, Kyler might go off, and I love Kyler, and I love Marvin Harrison Jr., and I even like Rich Gannon. But if you're speaking about just talent-wise, I mean, this is a wash. It's this should be 21-3 halftime. Like, it could be bad. Patriots, Bengals. Guys, we're going with the Bengals here. In Cincy, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Trey Hendrickson. This is not even a question. When you guys see this Patriots team with Jacoby Brissett at the helm, you are going to understand what bad football looks like. You thought you saw it last year. I mean, Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones. I mean, I get that. But compared to who they're facing, the Bengals, who is an elite team, you are going to see some bad football. Turnovers, horrible passes, fumbles. This game is an absolute shit show for the Patriots. And it begins the realization of like, oh, the peaks and valleys of generations. And it's time to take a valley for a couple of years. Drake May's still there, but you're not starting Drake May. I don't think you strike Drake May till like week 8, week 9, if you want to play him. If not, you're not playing him. And you're taking it on the chin. You know? But I think Jamar Chase has a giant day. T. Higgins has a giant day. Burrow comes back slinging. Trey Hendrickson destroys Jacoby Brissett on a couple plays. Like, I don't think they have a shot in hell. Okay, and the spread is -8.5. Should be way more than that, but then the money line tells you plus 340 for the Patriots, and that's where you see the difference. Vikings, Giants in New York. I do not care that they're at home. Vikings are winning this game. Because there is no way in hell that I'm going to take Daniel Jones and a rookie receiver with an unproven offensive line and you're going to tell me that they're going to outscore Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, and TJ Hawkins and whatever we get from Sam Darnold. Because if I look at the quarterbacks, I'm taking Sam Darnold over Daniel Jones, even though it's kind of like, what are you going to get? I'm really believing in Kevin O'Connell. This game is belief in Kevin O'Connell that he can turn Sam Darnold back into that number 1 pick coming out of USC. That's what we're talking about here. Okay? Because if we're talking about defenses, the Giants defense is absolutely insane. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, it is insane. Especially up front. But if we're talking about who's going to score more, I think it's going to be the Vikings. Because there is nobody on the I don't think there's anybody on the Giants that can cover Jordan Addison or JJ. You're going to have to bracket one, and TJ Hawkinson still at tight end. And we'll see what Aaron Jones has, but I think he has some legs, some tread still in the tank. Don't forget, Aaron Jones is one of the best backs in the last 10 years coming out the backfield for passes. So, I'm going with the Vikings. Titans, Bears. Guys, I have gone back and forth on this. Tyler, do not kill me. Listen, I love both of these rosters. I like both coaches. The reason I like the Titans roster is because they have one of my favorite players of all time in D-Hop. I like Will Levis coming out of Kentucky. Jeffrey Simmons is a monster. But if we're talking about talent for talent, this is not close. And I'm gonna explain. Quarterback, Caleb is better. Running back, DeAndre Swift is better. Receiver, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley. I'm going to go DJ. D-Hop, Keenan Allen, I'm going to give it to D-Hop. Rome Odunze, Tyler Boyd, Rome Odunze. Defensive side of the ball. Montez Sweat, Tyreek Stevenson, Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker versus Jeffrey Simmons and who? Jeffrey Simmons and who? Sebastian Joseph Day. Tavondre Sweat, which I expect him to be good. And then Owuzie, Roger McCreary, L'Jarius Sneed. Okay. But I still think that Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, going to be facing his old team. Montez Sweat. Listen, Tyler, I understand. Tyler's my one of my best friends. He's my brother. He watches, and he grew up a Tennessee fan, grew up in Tennessee, and he believes in this team this year. Tyler, it is so hard to pick this game, but they're in Chicago, and I just believe that Bears defense is better than the Tennessee defense. So I'm going to go Bears here. The rookie gets his first win. But the rookie gets his first win, but it might be a battle. Like, legitimately, it might be a battle, a competition where in the fourth quarter, we see what these kids are made of. Will Levis is only a second-year quarterback. So I'm going with the Bears based on the defense that they're bringing from last year and Eberflus, and they're at home. And I like Caleb. Who's going to be his number one receiver? I believe it'll start off by being DJ Moore. But it might transfer into Rome Odunze as the season goes on. Okay? Jaguars, Dolphins. Actually, no. Steelers, Falcons. Listen, I know that there's Steelers fans out there who really believe in this team. But I am here to burst your bubble. You guys have a real possibility to be the fourth team in your division. And I know that that's not, what you want to hear. But unfortunately, it's like that. Okay? Listen, the Falcons are more talented than you up front in the offensive line. More talented than you on the outside. Don't give me that you only got George Pickens and Freiermuth. You don't got nobody else. You're going against Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, and Bijan. Okay? Now, I might be crazy for saying this because it's an NFC team and it is the Steelers and the historic and the brand and TJ Watt. And I do not care. I think that Kirk Cousins is coming in with a vengeance, showing why he earned $180 million, showing what Kyle Pitts can do. I think Kyle Pitts has a big game, maybe 10 plus targets, showing what Drake London can do, and Bijan is going to be Bijan, even though, let's say you don't allow him to run through the tackles. Well, that doesn't matter because he could get you out the backfield. Very simple question here. I'm guessing, this is just a thought, that you're putting Minka on Kyle and you're putting Joey Porter Jr. on Drake London. So your second corner, go have fun with Darnell Mooney. No Rondell Moore, he's hurt. Okay, no problem. By the way, the offensive line, no cakewalk. Because that offensive line is top 5 in the league. I named the other 3. They could be easily 4 or 5. Depending on what you like at the offensive line position. But Lindstrom is the best guard in the league. Corey Lindstrom. So, I'm going with the Falcons. I'm going with Raheem Morris, former coach, former coach of the Rams, Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. Going Raheem Morris. I'm going Kirk Cousins. I don't believe in Russell Wilson, even though I'm a giant fan of him from Seattle, but I've seen 2 years of mediocre play. Plain and simple. Mediocre. That's what I've seen. Okay? That's what I've seen. Can he get back to that level? Who knows? Probably not. You don't get better as you get older. That's only Tom Brady. But can you guys win defensively? Yeah, for sure. For sure. TJ can absolutely wreck this game. But is it more likely that TJ wrecks the game, or is it more likely that you get your ass handed to you by letting up 24 points and you can't put up 17? That's what we're talking about. How many times can you find Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens? How many? And then out of that, how many of them are legit touchdown opportunities or throwaways? We shall see, but I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons at home. Jaguars Dolphins in Miami. We're going Miami. Okay, Tyreek starts his bid for 2,000 once again. The journey to 2,000 yards receiving. Tua is paid. No need to worry about there. I think he's going to be more mobile. Listen to me when I say this. So when Tua starts running around and throwing, off the run and everything like that, so you guys understand, this is what he did at Alabama before the hip injury. If what they're saying about Tua is true, and he's back to being Bama Tua, it's the same thing with Bryce Young. You're facing a different player. You're facing a guy who can get out the pocket and make throws. And if that is what's happening, good luck. Because imagine you couldn't stop them when there was just timing because Tua wasn't there physically last year. It was just timing, learning, timing of the motion, timing of the windows. If there is freelancing in this offense at all, you're in trouble. Because you can't keep up with Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill. It's just a fact. I don't know how much OBJ will play, but we'll see. Still got Mostert, still got Devon Achane, which I perceive he's going to have a great season. The only question is the defense. And it's literally going to come down to this. It's going to come down, did Trevor Lawrence in this offseason finally unlock the number one pick potential coming out of Clemson? If he does, no shot. If Trevor is the best Trevor Lawrence can be, which is what he came out of college basically saying that he was the next Peyton Manning. If he's that, and this is the season where it starts, then we're cooked. Because he's 6'6", can run, has a cannon. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be his number one option. It's going to start with Christian Kirk, Ingram. I think Brian Thomas Jr. just makes the imprint and becomes his number one option. Defensively, you got Josh Allen and Campbell. Will Trayvon show up? Will he fulfill the number one pick potential that Trent Baalke thought he did? Who knows? Didn't pick Aiden Hutchinson. We picked Trayvon Walker. Still living with him. So we'll see, but I'm going with the Dolphins. Defensively, I just want to see some penetration, some ability to stop the run. And I think the outside, we got to cover with Jalen. I think we got the outside cover with Jalen and Cam Smith. Hopefully Cam Smith finally shows that first round talent. Texans, Colts, we're going Texans. No brainer here, even though it's an Indy. Listen, I love Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to be great in the future. But speaking right now, ain't no way in hell that I'm picking Anthony Richardson over CJ Stroud. And it's just a fact of just like, even if you cover it perfectly, he'll beat you. That's what he showed last year. He'll find that window and he'll stick it in there. Pause. Another thing. I know that the Colts have a really good offensive line. But what are you going to do when you are on third down and you got Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson hunting after you? Hunting. Okay? What are you going to do on defense when you have to decide who to put your best corner on, who to put Kenny Moore on, and who to put a safety or a linebacker or whoever you choose to cover either Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, John Mechie, Dalton Schultz? You tell me what you decide defensively. Because I don't think you got an answer. In God's name, you don't got an answer. And that's what it's going to look like. Should be a massacre. I like the D-line, DeForest Buckner. I love EJ Speed and Zaire Franklin. I love those guys. But this Texans team is stacked beyond stacked beyond stacked on both sides of the ball. I don't see a way for the Colts to win that game. Raiders, Chargers, we're going Chargers. First win for John Harbaugh coming back to the NFL. This is a very simple pick, guys. Gardner Minshew, Justin Herbert. Defensively, though, Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby, and Kuntz. Interesting, right? But what if I told you that Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Joshua Palmer, we're going to outdo Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. Now, let's say that instead of Gardner Minshew, what if they just had Kirk Cousins? Or, let's see, Deshaun Watson? It would be different. I would say different. And the reason I would say different is because Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, and Brock Bowers. Okay? That is what's going to be about the Raiders this season. Brock Bowers. That's going to be the whole season. Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers. That's what you're going to hear the whole season with along with Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. That's it. That's it. They're going to have great seasons, but they're still going to lose. Chargers. Broncos, Seahawks. In Seattle. Sean Payton, rookie quarterback, at the 12th man. They lose. I'm going with Seattle. Geno, JSN in year 2, DK, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, good offensive line, Nwosu, Byron Murphy Jr., Reek, Kobe Bryant. Yeah. I think Seattle got this one. Rookie quarterback. You know, when you stack the talents back to back, experiences on Seattle, better receiving core, definitely Seattle, because they have a triplets. You still have Noah Fant. Better running back, Seattle, Kenneth Walker. Well, even though Javonte Williams is good. Better defense, Seattle. At home. They don't lose at the 12th hand often. New regime with Mike McDonald. I think that defense is going to show out. I think that Geno Smith is going to do really good with Ryan Grubb. So I'm going to go Seahawks. I don't think Bo Nix has a bad game. I don't think he looks horrible. But there's, growing pains and stuff like that. But I expect Sean Payton to have a pretty efficient offense. Just can't, not as efficient as Geno with all the weapons. So I'm going Seahawks there. Cowboys, Browns. Another one of my friends, Machete, my cousin, Chris. Listen, bro, I know how much you love the Cowboys because of your father-in-law, and I understand. But you cannot tell me with a straight face. And yes, I am going out on the limb here because this is not the popular pick. This is what I'm feeling. If it bites me in the ass, I'll be like, all right, cool. We'll see you in January. But if I'm right, the AFC North becomes a lot tougher. And the Cowboys questions get a lot bigger. First of all, let's start with the Cowboys. I don't like the questions about the contract. I don't like CD having basically skipped all the training camp because of a contract dispute. There's too much hype and not enough meat with the potatoes, if you know what I'm saying. You telling me that you're going to trade away or let go of a first ballot Hall of Fame left tackle, one of the greatest of all time at his position in Tyron Smith, to Tyler Smith, and you think you're going to get the same production against his first game at left tackle as the starting left tackle with no having to look over his shoulder because Tyron Smith is not there, is miles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. On the other side, let's say Myles Garrett likes to switch to the other side. Zadarius Smith. Yeah. And you have Dak Prescott, concrete legs Ezekiel Elliott, and CeeDee Lamb. If you pull off that win, boy, props to you. Because I personally think, and this is the big kicker, I personally think that a healthy Deshaun Watson is going to go back to his Houston time. Now, this is the last time I'm believing in him. But I think that with Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, overall they have a better receiving core than the Cowboys. They have a better running back. Even without Nick Chubb, they still have better running backs. Better tight end in Njoku. So I'm going to go Browns. I'm going to say the defense is going to win it, but Deshaun Watson shows that it's still in there. Okay? That Clemson champ is still in there. Okay? So I'm going with the Browns there. Big pick. I understand, but it's just what I see. Commanders, Buccaneers. I'm going Buccaneers, but not for the reasons you think. I'm going Buccaneers just because of experience, guys. I mean, rookie quarterback going to Tampa against Todd Bowles and Levante David, Yaya Diaby. You're going to have Antoine Winfield Jr. in the back end. And you only got Terry McLaurin. Like, let's be real. No Jahan Dotson. De'Ami Brown is your next receiver unless you make, Luke McCaffrey your second receiver. You got Brian Robinson. Your defense is Louvu. Good. Love Frankie Louvu. Mr. How do I say this? Mr. First Ballot Hall of Fame linebacker, one of the best of all time at his position, Bobby Wagner. But pass rushing. What do we have? Pass rushing. We still have Jonathan Allen. Still have Deron Payne. Khalil Farrell. Jerzon Newton. That kid's I think is gonna be good. We got Dante Fowler Jr. That's what we're rushing the passer with, hoping that Emmanuel Forbes is good this year more than last year, that he learned. Mike Sanger still get off and running from Michigan and be an impact player. But Dante Fowler Jr. is your number one rushing the passer. That's a tough sell for me. That's a tough sell for me. Okay? I love Jaden Daniels. Love him. Love Terry McLaurin. But not on the road, just like Bo Nix. Not on the road. Not against an experienced defense. Mike Evans. Chris Godwin. Baker Mayfield. Feeling even more comfortable. Feeling it's his team. He got paid. Offensive line, we'll see. Running back, Rashad White. Bucky Irving. I got the Bucks. Rams, Lions. We're going Lions. Now, this is the game. This is it. This is the game. Don't tell me about Jets, 49ers. Nah. This is the game of the week. Ravens, Chiefs are like the beginning. And, it's going to get us nice and warmed up. But this is the game. And there's a reason it's the Sunday Night Football game. This is the game that's going to separate the men from the boys. Because this game, I believe, will be a absolute nail-biter. This is not going to be a blowout. This is going to be back and forth. Stafford, Goff. Stafford, Goff. Stafford, Goff, Puka Nakua, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. That's what it's going to be. And I think the Lions pull it out. I think the Lions put it out. I think the Lions have it all. Aiden Hutchinson. The offense is it's basically unstoppable. You got to pick your poison and hope that the other poison doesn't absolutely cook you. But when we're talking about defense, I think the Lions' defense is better. The Lions have a top 3 offensive line with Penei Sewell and Ragnow and all them cats. I think Jameson Williams starts to wake up. Still got Josh Reynolds, I believe. I don't want to say that just because, but I believe Josh Reynolds is still there. Let me see here. Yeah, Khalif Raymond, Amon-Ra, Isaiah Williams, Jameson Williams, Parker. Okay, so that's it. That's it. The rookie Isaiah Williams. Yeah, Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams. That's what it's going to be. Brock Wright and Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta for sure. He's going to probably be the second. But you got Marcus Davenport, Aiden Hutchinson, Ozor Enrique, Josh Pascal, DJ Reader, Ellen McNeil, Mekhi Wingo, Derek Barnes, James Houston. I think you have enough there. And then you got Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Brandon Joseph, Lauren Strickland, Meluo Fongu. Yeah, I'm going Lions. I just think that they have the better team right now. That's just my personal opinion. If you guys think that the Rams have a better team, okay. No problem. But I'm telling you, it's the Lions. Jets, 49ers, we're going 49ers. This is very simple. Trent Williams is back. Ayuk is back. And I refuse to usurp the 2-time Super Bowl reaching in the last 4-year team in the 49ers. And arguably the number 1 defense and top 3 offense to Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles injury. The Jets, I love that defense. Love Jermaine Johnson. No Hassan Reddick. So it's going to be Will McDonald, which I like too. Love Quincy Williams. Love Quinnen Williams. Love Sauce. But you still don't have enough defensively to deal with the offensive firepower that 49ers present you with. Also, we know what we're going to get from Brock Purdy. 70+% completion percentage, plus 100 passer rating, efficient decisions, not going to put the ball in harm's way. Okay? What are we getting from AR? What are we getting for A-Rod? Coming off the Achilles, the arm's still there, but can he move in the pocket? Is he comfortable? What is that offensive line looking like? Tyron Smith. Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams don't get hurt. Breece Hall should cook enough to get points fantasy-wise, hopefully. My starting running back. But, yeah, I just know what I'm going to get from the 49ers. It's in Santa Clara. So, that's even more. It's in San Francisco territory. So, I'm going 49ers. And those are my picks. If I had locks of the week, if you're a betting man, I'm betting. I'm betting Bears over Titans. And I'm betting Dolphins versus Jaguars. Those are my 2 locks. My lock is Texans over Colts. It's my lock. Chargers Raiders. I mean, you can build a little parlay off of pretty simple games that you should be pretty comfortable in what you're seeing. But those are my picks. Let's get to baseball real quick. One thing that I wanted to talk about that people have been bringing it up lately: Shohei Ohtani versus Francisco Lindor for NL MVP. Listen, guys, I'm not mad at the fact that you guys do not think a DH could win the MVP. It's never happened. I'm not mad at the old heads and like the baseball talking heads at MLB Network and everything saying, he's not giving you anything defensively. Francisco is having a great defensive season. Like always, he's one of the best shortstops in the game. He's Puerto Rican, which, we love that over we love that over here. We love that over here. He's one of the legends in Puerto Rico, one of the, living legends at this point in Puerto Rico baseball history, along with Carlos Correa and, of course, Yachty, Jorge Posada, Pudge, those guys. Carlos Beltran. But how are you going to quantify? The guy's on a first-place team. He didn't have Mookie for like 3 months. Lost Freeman for a couple of weeks. It has been at the number 1, number 2 in the order. Has 98 RBIs from the first and second batting slot. He's leadoff now, all time. And this man's about to give you 50-50 while rehabbing from Tommy John. First place team. And now you're saying, if Francisco Lindor, though, if he gets the Mets into the playoffs, he should definitely be the MVP. What are we talking about? And I love Francisco Lindor. Love him. Love watching him play. Love everything about him. But, just because a guy doesn't give you defensive impact because he's rehabbing from a Tommy John, because if not, he'd be one of the sickest pitchers in the league, and this wouldn't be a discussion. The fact that it's a discussion because he's rehabbing from Tommy John, and he's still giving you almost 300 batting average, 50 bombs, 50 stolen bases, and OPS over 950, almost 1,000. Rehabbing. What are we talking about? Ketel Marte was closer to Shohei before he got hurt. And people are saying, it's closer than Bobby Witt and Aaron Judge. You can make a case for Bobby. Let's look at the numbers. Very simple, right? Let's look at the numbers. Batting average. Who's higher? Ohtani, 292. Where is Lindor? Lindor, 273. Already, right there. 292 to 273. Already. Okay? If we go to doubles, how many doubles does Ohtani have? 30. How many does Lindor have? Okay. 37. Triples. Ohtani, 7. Lindor, 1. Okay. Home runs, 30. Ohtani, 44. RBI, 99 to 84. Guys, these are the actual numbers. Okay, these are the actual numbers. How many times has he walked? How many times has he walked based on balls? Ohtani, Oh, man. I messed up the order here. Got to go back. There you go. How many times has he walked? Ohtani's walked 72 times. Lindor, 50 times. Good plate discipline. Ohtani has K'd 141 times. Lindor has only K'd 117. So they're over 100 strikeouts. Stolen bases, Ohtani, 46. Lindor, 26. Okay. On base percentage, Ohtani, 377. Solid. Lindor, 343. Ohtani's higher. Slugging percentage, Ohtani, 617. 617. Slug. Lindor, 500. Pretty good. OPS. Bobby's over 1,000. Judge is 1,000. 1.163. 1,100. Ohtani, 995. So 4,000ths of a point away from 1,000 for the season. WAR. Everybody loves WAR, right? WAR. 7.1. Lindor, 6.4. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Okay, the fielding, I get it. I get the position argument, but still, come on. Shohei is literally, he's top 15 in batting average. Okay? Top 15 in batting average. Top 2 in home runs. RBI, 99. About to hit 100. So he's going to be a 50, 100 RBIs. Hits. Let's see. Who are the hits leaders this year? Ohtani, 158. Lindor, I'm looking for him. 155. Right behind Ohtani. So hits is 155 to 158. Okay. At bats, Ohtani, 541. Lindor, 561. Runs, Ohtani, 111. Francisco, 97. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, why are we bringing up stuff that when you really dive deep, the only thing you can say is he fields? And we wouldn't be having this conversation if Ohtani was at full strength. We just wouldn't. He's top 2 in stolen bases. Like, makes zero sense. Zero. Okay? So I don't want to hear it. Standings. Baltimore has a half a game up on New York. Cleveland has a 4.5 game lead and a 5.5 game lead over the Twins and KC. Houston has a 6.5 game lead on Seattle. Philly has a 7.5 game lead on Atlanta. Milwaukee has a 10 game lead on the Cubs. And the Dodgers having a 5.5 game lead on the Padres and a 6 game lead on the Arizona Diamondbacks. If we go to the wild card where this gets nitty gritty, New York is going to make it in either as a winning division or the number 1 wild card. Then Minnesota's up a game on KC, and KC's up 4.5 games on Detroit. Boston is also 4.5 games back. Seattle's 5.5 games back, and Tampa Bay is 6 games back. I think that's the cutoff right there. I don't think Toronto can make it up there at 8.5. So I think KC's going to get in. Detroit's making a real push, but they're 4.5 games back. KC's been aspiring a little bit. They got to catch themselves because Pasquantino's done for 6 to 8 weeks, so they have to survive that. In the NL, you got San Diego and Arizona clearly in 3 games up, 2.5 games up. You got Atlanta half a game up on the Mets. And this is why the MVP conversation is happening. This is exactly why the MVP conversation is happening. Because Lindor has basically brought the Mets back from the brink of extinction. And that's why they're doing it. Ketel Marte was doing the same thing. Just got hurt. Chicago's 4.5 games back. I think they're out of it. I think St. Louis is out of it at 5.5. So I think it's between Atlanta and the Mets. And I think Atlanta gets in just because they have better pitching. Schwellenbach, Chris Sale, Charlie Morton, Max Fried. They just got more arms. Better bullpen, too. But if Lindor makes... The thing is, Dodgers are first place. 50-50. Like, it is what it is, guys, you know. But I love you guys. Thank you for joining me for episode 136 of the Exact Top Podcast, my official first predictions of the season. Super excited about tomorrow and this weekend. Going to be on Red Zone all Sunday long. Love it. Love you guys. God bless. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're new, follow me on all my socials. Hit the comments. I love you guys. And I'll leave you with the outro.
Que todos quieren ser el chamaquito que no puede